Evan,
Molly, how are you?
just so great. So good. So, Evan, we need to talk about the SAVE Act. Donald Trump has decided that because he cannot win, basically, he looked at the polls and he was like, I'm going to get impeached again. He looked at his 35, 36 favorability rating and was like, oh, we got to make it harder to vote because otherwise we're all in a lot of trouble. Discuss.
Well, I think that what's going on with this, right, is he has a long-term project heading into these midterms to really question the way elections work in the country. I mean, he has active investigations going on in Georgia and Arizona, the places that he lost in 2020, and then still sort of carrying a torch for, saying he got robbed from that. They're doing that. There have been calls from some folks in his in MAGA world that he should declare an emergency so he can take over elections. He talked about taking over elections, and the
But he's
SAVE Act is
doing
kind of
this because he knows he can't win, right? He's not doing this because American elections, like a million different courts have said, his own DOJ, that he did not win.
Well, yeah, that's right. He didn't win the election in 2020. He lost the election in 2020. And then the thing is, the best way to come back from that is to win the following one, which he then did. So it's confusing as to why we're still talking about 2020. But I will say, look, I don't know this is all about the majority in the House and the Senate, which, it does look at risk. His poll numbers are very, very bad. It's not going well for them.
Yeah.
But this really is a long-term Trump project, has been undermining faith
American
in
elections. Yes.
Since the very beginning. Even before 2016, right? The walk up to that was a lot of questions like, are you going to accept the results? If they don't go your way. And he's like, I don't know if I'm going to or not. Of course, they did go his way. Then he, of course, accepted them. But then when they didn't go his way, he didn't accept them. January 6th, etc. This whole thing is part of a whole piece. And what's fascinating about it is that you have seen a lot of Republicans get very upset about some of the stuff that he is talking about. When he was out there talking about Republicans should take over elections, he listed several states whose elections that they should take over. Republicans pushed back. They're like, well, this is a state sovereignty issue. We run them. We don't need to do this. We don't need the federal government coming in there and telling us how to run our elections. And on this issue of the SAVE Act, the bill itself, there's a lot of things that, are already the law, changes some other things. But the main thing is the senators, the Republican senators, are not letting him do this bill. They don't want to blow up the legislative filibuster, which senators really like. Literally, the only people in America who like the filibuster are senators. It's one of the strangest things in the world. You never meet anybody, you ever go anywhere who likes it. But then today you saw the thing, where John Cornyn running, in that weird Texas primary.
So let's stop for a second and talk about the Texas primary. So this is John Thune, who is the new leader of the Senate. He is very tall and tan and affable. And he is
good-looking guy.
A Senate guy. And he does not want to blow up the filibuster because he knows that no matter how much you fuck up elections, eventually Democrats will, in fact, win. And then we will all have free breakfast for children, which everyone knows must be stopped. We cannot feed those poor kids when that money could be better spent on movies of Kristi Noem riding horses and flying around in her jet with a bedroom. So I want to talk about, I'm right. I'm right. That money could be better
the thing
spent.
About the filibuster is it isn't just about the next coming election. I think that's true. But when you talk to senators from both parties, they like this thing. This is one of the things they think is a key component of what makes their legislative body different than other legislative bodies. Once they get in there, they're very excited. There's always a vocal minority of people who want it gone.
And now we run into the Texas Republican Senate primary, which pits Ken Paxton, a man who has been impeached but not removed, just like Donald Trump, and John Cornyn, a man who is slightly less nuts, are running in a runoff for the primary. And so both of them have now decided that the Save America Act is the only way to suck up to Trump to get the Trump endorsement, which you need, at least theoretically, to win this runoff.
I have never seen an election about one person as much as this one is. It's like the movie with Kevin Costner they made, like Swing Voter or whatever, and they all have to go down there and like campaign. Like what happened was Cornyn does surprisingly well in the first vote, comes out on top, which is not supposed to happen. This sort of shifts the winds that he's going to get this endorsement from Trump. Trump sort of previews saying, I'm going to endorse somebody and then make the other person drop out. Paxton comes up with this brilliant idea of like, yeah, I'll drop out if they pass the SAVE Act. And Trump loves that.
Right.
And so now the whole thing is reset. And now you got Cornyn, a longtime supporter of the Senate, a longtime supporter of the Senate filibuster, and who is kind of running as kind of like, look, I like Trump, but I'm an independent guy. You know me. Like that's kind of what his whole thing is that like Paxton is like this weird wild card who loves Trump so much, and who knows, I'm like a normal Texan, I go my own way if I have to guy. And now what he's doing is this weird sycophantic, like, I too think we should blow up the filibuster and that we should pass the SAVE Act. The problem is there isn't that much time. There's 12 weeks. It's a really long runoff, but that's not that long in legislative calendar time. So like, it's pretty likely that the filibuster will not be blown up, nor the SAVE Act passed by the end of this thing, but it has put the race in stasis effectively until something happens. It's like because the whole thing is about what's Trump going to do. I mean, meanwhile, there are like millions of Texans who have to vote and make this decision, but like nobody seems to be talking to them very much right now. They're only talking to Trump, which is an interesting way to go about it.
It is an insane story. I also want to add my favorite part of this story is that in order to pass the SAVE Act, what Donald Trump wants the SAVE Act to say is not what the SAVE Act says in the House. So the SAVE Act that they passed from the House has vote by mail voting, which Donald Trump wants to get rid of in his new SAVE Act, because part of this is that Donald Trump is very incoherent. So he wants a lot of shit taken out of there, which in itself is wild.
I mean, the bill it's simply, as written right now, cannot pass. And that's sort of the way it is. And this happens. I mean, I know we were going to talk about, maybe we talk about
through the House either way.
Yeah, it would have to go back to the House. I mean, this is the whole thing. This is an issue where the electorate in Texas is very interested in keeping, the Republican electorate wants to keep this seat Republican. Some of them would say they can do it by having this Ken Paxton, who's a real like bomb thrower, right-wing guy. Some think they got to do it by having this sort of dyed-in-the-wool establishment John Cornyn guy. But when you go out there, if you talk to people who are voting in that election, I have friends who've been doing that. My colleagues have been doing that. They're not talking about the SAVE Act. This is again another thing where we're spending all of this time talking about something that is a really legislatively esoteric. It's very, very important, as I mentioned, with everything having to do with elections. But in terms of an electoral strategy, you've got a Democrat running around talking about affordability, Tallarico, who just won. We're talking about affordability, bringing people together, bipartisan solutions, and you've got a Republican primary that's frozen to see whether or not this esoteric bill that has nothing to do with prices will get passed in the Senate. It's a very, very strange circumstance, not what anybody who is like a strategist in Texas would design. And I think it's a tough one for them.
Yeah. Thoughts, prayers. Okay, so let's talk about leadership on the Democratic side. So right now, we have a House that has a one vote majority for Republicans. Okay, one. Mike Johnson has lost his caucus. The women are so mad. They are talking. I mean, you're seeing Nancy Mace. These MAGA women are furious, right? They're furious. You see them furious. They say they're furious. Marjorie Taylor Greene laughed. I mean, it's just, they are mad. Then you have Thomas Massey, also mad. Then you have Don Bacon, people who are retiring. You have such a huge group of disaffected Republicans caucusing with Republicans being run by Mike Johnson. So answer me this, because I asked a member of Congress this and she punted and wouldn't answer. But why can't Hakeem get one of these people to either become an independent and caucus with him? What can he offer? Why can't he get somebody on board? Why can't he flip the House right now?
Well, I will say that when you talk to Republicans about being Republicans in this era of Trump, being elected Republicans in this era of Trump, they have spoken about physical safety. Like they
Right.
get worried that if they get put on blast by Trump to a certain enough, they become persona non grata enough that it could really put them at actual physical risk. This is the thing that they have talked about.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't really know like the mechanics of doing something like that. I think it's a thing of like, would that get you? You'd have to request that like they tried to reelect you. The Democrats right now are like, we're just going to keep steamrolling ahead. Everything's working for us, and we're just going to take this thing and win
So
when we can. But
let's
like that kind of
pause.
maneuvering, we are in that kind of weird,
Yeah.
tight
Yes.
legislative place where strange things can happen. But really, where it's come down on mostly at this point has been on Johnson. We had reporting in Notice this morning about the House retreat that was supposed to be a legislative strategy session planning for the full year ahead, and really none of the moderates attended this thing. And even with none of the moderates there, they still couldn't agree on anything to do. So they're in a really tough spot, and that's sort of where this is all falling down on right now. Is that it's like I think Democrats are sort of sitting back and enjoying the show for the moment. Um,
But
we'll see if
should
that
they be?
changes.
But let's pause for a minute, because should they be? Like, you and I, okay, whatever, we know how it works, but like, let's just say right now, 30% of Democrats are being primaried. There is a kind of rage in the base. If you talk to normal people, they are so mad at Jeffries. They are so mad at Schumer. They do not feel that leadership is doing for them what they want. Now, you and I know there are certain things leadership is doing that is really good, right? Getting Mary Perota and Alaska to run for Senate. Like Chuck Schumer has amassed some wins, and Hakeem too, right? The Epstein files released. There have been certain things. But like if you just talk to Democrats on the street, they are furious. So are Democrats rolling along and doing the right thing, or do you think they should be doing more?
Well, it's really not what I think. I do think there's a thing of what you're hitting on is very, very important, which is
Yeah.
that we are sitting in a situation where things feel very much the same. I know we're having a war right now. You have some lawmakers, right? You have guys like Chris Murphy and stuff who are thinking about running for president and thinking about tapping in to this Democratic rage. They're saying this war needs to end. Cut off the funding, end it now. Just like get out of this thing. We shouldn't be in the first place. End it. And you've got other people in the Democratic caucus that are sort of falling all over themselves in very different ways. We did a lot of reporting about this idea of maybe Trump might ask for supplemental budget for this bill that he did not ask Congress to do in the first place. And if he comes to ask for this money, there are Democrats who are like, well, maybe we do it. I don't know. Maybe you have to sort of see. Maybe it's possible that we would do it. The public is very much against this war. The
Yes.
public is very much against a lot of this stuff that's going on. And the Democratic leadership is the same leadership that disappointed a lot of them during the shutdown time, right?
Yeah.
That now that's looked back on is now like, oh, that was kind of, we did pretty well there. We kind of won some stuff. This DHS shutdown has been very successful in terms of party unity and sort of getting the party on one page about an issue that was tough for them, immigration. But it is true that these things are happening, and what you hear from folks is that the leadership sort of sounds the same. They're very like careful around talking about this conflict. And those of us who remember the Iraq war, it sounds a lot like that. It sounds a lot like, well,
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the wrong side of this. And just in case somehow this breaks out in like a democracy emerging in Iran, that's our new best friend, and it all works out great. We don't want to be on the wrong side of that. This is a delicate area, but I'm not sure that they have at all figured out how to deal with their angry base. I mean, you look in Maine, for example, where Democrats are still hammering tongs against this guy Graham Plattner, who polls show is just like crushing their chosen candidate,
Yeah.
Janet Mills. They have not figured out how to harness that and calm that down. I think that because we're in a moment now where in a two-party system, the pendulum is swinging away from the party in power, it feels good, but we got a lot of primaries to go, and they need voter enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And this key problem of what do you do with these base voters who are really, really upset, they have not figured that out. That's clear.
Yeah. You know, behind the scenes, there are all these House races that are flippable. There are all of these Senate races that are a pretty heavy lift. But if if we see the kind of blue wave that we've seen in the specials, which we may not, right? Because specials tend to be even more exaggerated, though who knows? I mean, there is a real scenario where leadership can't necessarily tamp down the anti-incumbent sentiment, right?
Well, the question is, should they? I mean, should they tamp
Well,
down anti-incumbent? So
they
they might be
shouldn't,
in
but
better.
they might, but they will want to.
Yeah, I think they do want to. I think it's a natural
Yeah.
tendency in Washington and in politics to sort of do that. Go, it's a safe thing. We all saw this with Biden, right? That was the Biden thing. He's president already. This is a great idea. Let's stick with the guy who's president already. Politics is moving in a very different direction and things are moving around very, very quickly. You think about these districts that have been redrawn. Many of these incumbents are running with many new voters they have never had before. And so
Yeah.
they're making a case as incumbents to some of these voters. That's a tough one. But really, it is a thing that, when these moments come along, like we're dealing with now, where you look at the polling about something like, for example, public support for Israel, right? Our partner in this war in Iran. Both sides of the aisle have seen that support for that country shift in big ways, especially in certain demographics, younger demographics, for example, has shifted away from supporting that country in the way that we've supported it in the past as an American, as a country. And those voters, where are they going to go? Do they totally know where they're going to go right now? I don't know. How angry are they going to be? What are they going to do? No party's really sort of reaching out to them at this moment or trying to sort of deal with them and talk to them that much. And this is it is a real wild card for the midterms, but it's also a wild card for the Democratic Party going forward. Because what can happen is they could win in 2026 and they could immediately face plant when they're in power.
Yeah.
They need to build something. This is a party that had its reputation and its brand absolutely trashed in 2024. They need to
Yeah.
rebuild it. And I have not talked to a lot of strategists and folks involved who feel like they have rebuilt it. They think that they're getting some chances to, right? I mean, the way that they won in New Jersey, the way they won in Virginia in 2025, those are good wins for them. They feel like they can rebuild. But
Yeah.
overall, I haven't seen them tamp down this anger among their own supporters.
Yeah. And we shall see, right? Evan, will you come back?
Anytime, of course. I love coming to this show. It's the best show. So fun.
Yes, the best.